Everyone thinks because you're a zombie, you don't know good coffee. Well, they're wrong. There's only one brew that gets my seal of approval. Deadly Grounds coffee is my guilty pleasure. The aroma is so intoxicating. It brings all of my neighbors out of the woodwork. Deadly Grounds coffee. Coffee to die for and zombie approved. It's good to get a little deadly. Use the front door! Oh, they're so disgusting.
Tuesday night, we're back to another live Wicked Horror Show. We were off the last couple of weeks due to illness and just life. So yeah, my name's Kevin. I'm back. If you've forgotten who I was in the last 2 weeks, and we also have Tony Has Nine Fingers.
What is going on, people?
And Tony, do you want to introduce our very special guests?
I will try my best because, well, you'll find out.
You'll be fine.
So who are you going first?
Let's go with Derek because he's a returning guest.
All right. So we do have the director of the movie Silent Sisters. We had them on, 4 weeks ago?
Something like that.
Derek Bailey.
What's up, Derek? Welcome back.
Hey, guys. Good to be back.
Yeah.
Now, I'm going to attempt it, and I'm probably going to fail horribly, but...
The first name is easy. Yeah, we'll call her the first name all day long. But the last name is where the problem's going to be.
Actually, that's probably the easiest part of it. Kind of sound. Well, anyway, Isabella Bloedorn. Close? Maybe? Possibly?
Isabella Bloedorn, yeah.
Okay, well, I was closer than I expected to be.
I'm impressed.
There you go, Tony.
Thank you.
I was a mess last time. What was the name that I kept messing up?
Avriana.
There you go. All right, then who do we got next, Tony?
Caitlin Kirkel. Hopefully I said that right.
Yeah, that was perfect.
Does your name end in a question mark? Because that's how we read it.
Yeah.
In Kirkel?
Shush. How's Avriana again?
Yeah, I don't know.
Exactly.
Yeah. So yeah, welcome to the show. It's awesome to have you. We were excited about the movie before, and now we're even more excited because we get to meet more of the cast. So yeah, it was a good time last time. You guys have you worked with Derek before, or is this a whole new process for you working with him?
I've worked with Derek before. We did a 48-hour film. That was the first time I worked with him, and it was kind of crazy off the bat. It was my first time doing combat, and my entire role was pretty much just combat, where I was just beating just this giant dude. Like, I was winning the whole time. So, because it was like a dark comedy, it was very out of my comfort zone, but it was a lot of fun. And it definitely got me more prepared for Silent Sisters because I was committed to Silent Sisters first, but then I ended up doing the 48-hour film with Derek to get a feel for, how we work together.
So it was a lot of battle. Like this was all like how so did you like help like choreograph the battle, or was it just something that
Yeah. We kind of went into it like freestyle. A lot of the script just was like they're fighting, and we just went for it, see what felt natural. And I actually really enjoyed it because then when we did Silent Sisters, I ended up choreographing the majority of the final battle scene, which was a lot of fun, definitely like a bucket list type of thing. And I found out I really do love combat. So I did a lot of combat in Silent Sisters as well. And for probably a week after filming, I couldn't move. Like, the adrenaline was going while we were filming, but for a week after, I'm going to my college classes, and believe it or not, I had bowling for PE, and I couldn't move.
Bowling for PE, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. Remember I told you about Corinne had that shoulder that she laid into?
Yes.
The actress, that was Isabella.
Oh.
And she told her to put the shoulder directly in like a linebacker hit.
Mm-hmm. I said she could really tackle me. I could take it.
When she thumped on the ground, you could pick it up on the mics.
Oh, geez.
Like, it was a hard hit. And she said that, I guess the way it hit on her lower back, Thankfully, we had insurance. Thankfully, she didn't need to use it.
Yeah.
But it was a good time being out there. She's very interactive when we get out on the sets and helping. She knows me well enough to know I'm really good and interactive with everyone, but there are times where I take on a lot, and she can kind of help realize what I'm doing. And so she does that. But the 48 she was talking about is called Girl Code. And if you pick back like the old Three Stooges, how they had a lot of action going on in the background, or Charlie Chaplin, it wasn't always the main actor. It's like if you looked in the background, you could find a lot in the movie. Well, that's what she was doing. She had parts where she was up front, but then we'd send her to the back, and she would be trying to battle with the guy in the back. I mean, he's huge. Daniel Desverges, he's huge. He's 6'3".
Oh, yeah.
Muscles, fit, gorgeous man. I mean, he's just amazing. But she was back there owning him the whole time. And that was so fun because as the audience, you get to see it.
Yeah.
But the actors in the front were oblivious to it. And so she really owned it and did a lot of great stuff with that.
Nice. The good thing is, you know, you guys, you're in school still. You're in the younger side of things, so you can still get away with that kind of stuff. You know, if you were older, you may not have. You may have some issues down the road. But yeah. So, what about you, Caitlin? Have you worked with Derek before? Is this the first project you've had with him?
Yeah, this has been my first project with Derek. I have another one coming up soon, which is called Adrift, which we'll be working on together, which I'm really excited for. But yeah, this was my first time, and it was definitely a very interesting experience.
In what way?
They saw your blood teaser trailer
on
the last show.
I have blood teaser.
Referring to, for sure.
I'm going to play it at about the 30-minute mark. So hint, Sergio, if you're in the chat around, don't go to the bathroom around 9:30 like you normally do. Wait.
You did get the new teaser. I made y'all a new teaser.
Did you really?
Yeah.
I don't know if I got it.
Okay. Well, I'll work on it. If you see me spin around, ignore me. Keep talking to them.
Yeah.
And I'll message it to you.
Yeah, send it to me on Facebook, and I can.
All right. It's only about 40 seconds, so you can probably run them both.
All right, Tony.
I was going to say, so right after Isabella said that she liked fighting and stuff, I thought you were going to say that you became a black belt and now you're like a master in Taekwondo and stuff. But,
yeah.
So no stunt doubles or anything?
Not yet, right? At some point in your career, you'd be like, yeah, I don't need a stunt double, but I'm gonna have one anyways, because
I do want to be that actress that can do like all the minor stunts myself. I don't know. I want to be able to do like combat roles, and I feel like being able to say like, oh yeah, I can do all of like the punching and stuff gives you an edge on other people. But I will say in Girl Code, since we were just kind of riffing it, like going off non-choreograph, I did accidentally land a punch on Daniel at one point, and it made it into the final cut. Nice. If you look closely in the background, we're in a window, you see me nail him in the mouth and go, and then underneath he goes, keep going. And then so then I just keep going, and it made it into the final cut because I felt so bad. And then later when he had to shove me, I told him, to make it even, actually shove me. But this dude is 6'3". He like nailed me into the box. I mean, the thump was insane. The sound was not added. Dude nailed me into this box. It was not equal.
Yeah. What happens when you punch someone for real? I mean, I don't know. With technology and stuff changing, with the higher resolution of everything, it is going to get a little bit harder. We were watching Terminator 2 over at my in-laws' house. And, it's been forever since I've seen it, but I was like, that is obviously not Arnold Schwarzenegger right there. Like, it's obviously not him. It's just the dude with a wig on. Like, it's like, wow, some of these movies were not meant to be upgraded, I guess, because you see everything. Real quick, Life is Pain is in the chat. Welcome back. He's saying, guess who's back again? It's us. And it's also him. He's back. And then Chadrick.
Chadrick, what's up?
everyone. He was in the chat a bunch last time as well.
Yeah, we'll be on at the end of the month.
Oh, we will.
Yeah.
Nice. For what?
I guess a couple different things.
Okay.
Should be.
And Molly Zombie. Molly Zombie, who I think is in Florida as well, saying hello, everyone. I think she's from Florida. Do you know Molly Zombie? Caitlin, by chance? Do you know Molly Zombie? I think she's from Florida. Florida's a tiny state, right? Everyone there knows it.
Yeah. No, I was born in South Africa, and that is people say all the time is they're like, "Oh, you're from South Africa? I know someone from South Africa. Do you know them?" And I'm like, "No, probably not."
So yeah, Molly's from Tampa Bay. Yeah, she came on. I'm forgetting names, but why am I forgetting her name? She's got the con. Yep, she's got the con out in Florida, like a horror convention out in Florida.
Oh, Molly Robson. Yeah, she's with Rick Danford and them.
Yeah. I think she's friends with her. But yeah, thanks for coming back, Molly. It's been a couple weeks since we've been gone. I was like, everyone already forgot about us. It's been 2 weeks. That's how it works on the internet. So as far as like horror goes for both of you, are you horror fans in general? Or are you just fans of making the movies? Are you fans of watching the movies?
This is my first horror film that I've been in. I actually haven't done any horror before this because I normally play antagonists, but I've never actually done like SFX. This was the first time I've done an antagonist that involved like SFX because usually the antagonists in horror films are either big burly guys or monsters. But I've been watching horror movies since forever. Probably too young to have been watching horror movies is when I started watching because they're my mom's favorite. That's what
leaves the imprint on you. That's why you watch them forever because it terrified you as a young kid, and you're like, I'm just chasing that dragon. That's what I need.
What was weird is like I'd watch horror movies and be like low key fine, but then I'd like hide under blankets in Charlie and the Chocolate Factory when the animatronics set on fire. That got me, but not like horror movies. Yeah, I've probably watched like every good horror movie I've watched because that's just like the only thing I watch.
Every good horror movie.
Yeah, I try to avoid movies that are just like people say objectively bad. There's too many movies to watch bad movies.
But there's also, I mean, as far as like Tony and I go, we watch a lot of movies just in general. There's a lot of movies we watch completely with zero knowledge about anything about the movie. And, sometimes you'll be surprised. There's really good
You should have her back on one time when you do one of your watches and play one and have her on when you watch it. Have her be one of your three.
Yeah, but there's a lot out there that you just will never know about until you just stumble across it,
Yeah, I'm also just so picky.
I hear you. I'm also people tend to be snobs when it comes to certain things, but as time goes on, and with since the pandemic, honestly, with all streaming and stuff like that, there's a lot of really good stuff out there that just. There's so much out there, though. It really flies under the radar too easily. But so Caitlin, what about yourself? Are you a horror fan in general?
Yeah, definitely. I tend to close my eyes in more of the gory bits. But I like being there for the adrenaline.
Yeah, there's a lot of movies out there that the gore factor just gets me on the gross side of things. Like, oh, that's disgusting. But I can watch a movie with almost no gore in it at all. But if it's suspenseful, that'll terrify me. It's a good story.
I love.
Yeah, there's some really good like PG-13 horror movies out there. People are like anti-PG-13 horror. A lot of people are, and I'm just like, The Woman in Black with Daniel Radcliffe. That movie still it's a scary movie. Silence of the Lambs. People don't even consider that a horror movie for some reason. That movie terrifies me. You get into the later ones of that, and it gets pretty gory. But still,
we just had on a few months. Well, yeah, probably like 2 months ago. We had the director of a movie called Slaughterhouse.
Yeah,
with a killer sloth. and that's a PG-13 movie.
Yeah,
it's ridiculous. It's fun.
Wasn't the reboot of Evil Dead a PG-13?
Was it?
I thought it was, but that's I think the most blood I've seen in a movie since Dead Alive. But
I was going to say that.
Yeah, Sergio's in the chat. So Sergio, here's your warning. All right, 15 minutes. We're going to be playing a trailer. All right, that's your warning. So don't go to the bathroom or go now. But I'm going to. So is that teaser on your YouTube channel as well, Derek?
Yes.
All right, I'm going to grab it from there. I think.
Caitlin, you gave me an idea for another film title: Gory Bits.
Gory.
Yeah.
Gory Bits.
Do I get to star in it?
I'm not a big gore girly either. Like, I actually don't really. This might be an unpopular opinion. I'm not a huge fan of like Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Well,
it's not my type of movie.
Let me just explain something. Have you ever watched the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre?
Probably not.
I wouldn't know. I watched a Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Okay. If you watch the original one, which was banned in multiple countries,
then I probably have not seen that one.
Right. There is no gore in that movie.
Oh. Oh, it wasn't that one that I watched.
No, that's the thing.
If you watch the newest one, the newest one has the
newer ones.
Gore.
They go over the top. They go over the top.
Yeah, the newer ones for sure. That's
my
the one
favorite is the original. I have a giant Leatherface tattoo on my arm. I have multiple Leatherface collectibles. A friend of mine gave me like a custom Leatherface like piece of art for my wedding present. My wife's like, "Great, what am I going to do with that?" I'm like, whatever. But it's my favorite, and I don't know. It's one of those things where a lot of people assume something about that movie. There's literally, it's all implied violence for the most part.
Even people that watched it, they're like, "Oh, there was so much blood in it."
It was implied violence. It was implied violence. Derek, I'm sure you've seen it.
I have not seen that one. Texas, of all the ones, that's one series I haven't been in on too much.
I'll be honest with you. After the second one, I'm done.
Yeah,
like, the second one is not even that great to me. The first one is where it's at. Second one is okay. Bill Moseley. I'm glad I was introduced to Bill Moseley there. But other than that, I'm done with the rest of the franchise. But it's not violent. It's implied.
That's what things like Halloween came out. Mm-hmm. I got to see Friday the 13th series and Nightmare when they came out.
Yeah.
And so, that puts me old school. I almost saw Friday the 13th part 2, but the girl was too cute, and that was my first experience. And, I didn't catch a lot of that movie, First Kiss,
Yeah.
It I'm sure it was good, but,
Yeah.
Hey, everybody has to have their first kiss somewhere. Friday the 13th part 2 is mine. We snuck in. We were actually like 14. And the theater, we bought tickets for one and then went to go see Friday the 13th.
You
the old switcheroo.
In more ways than one. That's
anyway,
I don't either, but it sounds good.
So I just want to say Molly's agreeing with me that Texas Chainsaw is one of her favorites. TCM 74. That's.
Well, how do I see the banned one if it's banned? You said that's the good one.
It was banned for years and years. It's not banned anymore.
Oh.
Yeah, they just put it on 4K Blu-ray and whatever, blew it up.
How did it get banned?
It was like rated X when it first came out. It was like it had to be played. If it was going to be played, it had to be played in like porn theaters and stuff. There was no nudity in the movie. There's no there's no actual violence. You see, he chases her with a chainsaw. The only like blood you see, but you don't see anything with the meat hook. You don't see any blood.
It's implied.
A girl hangs her off a meat hook, but you don't see the meat hook. You don't see it come through her. She's just hanging there. There's no blood. There's no nothing. He cuts his own leg with a chainsaw at one point, and then there's like a corpse on top of a headstone in the beginning of the movie. Other than that, there's really no blood.
Well, that was like what is it? Monster Squad got banned in England or something like that. Some of these, it depends on like the country's laws and stuff too. Like there's some movies that are very like blah here, but in other countries it's like, oh well, you can't do this, so it's banned. So that could have been a reason too.
Yeah, it was also a different time. It was 74. So people like they were just trying
Certainly
to
haven't seen that one then.
yeah, there were definitely well, I was not born when it came out, but because of another movie I saw it and it became my favorite. But I don't know, even movies like because of summer school I saw it because of a scene from summer school. But then even movies like The Hills Have Eyes that came out as rated X at first, and that's that's Wes Craven. It's a Wes Craven movie, and so it's like they at the time they considered horror one small step above pornography. Like it was that's what they considered it. It was a very, very you're doing horror, you're at the end of your career. That's what it was back then. Not so much anymore. Now it's like everyone's doing horror. Yeah. And rightfully so, because it's awesome.
We've got blood and nudity in ours, so
I don't know anything about that because I haven't seen the movie because it's not. When is it actually going to be coming out?
It's still in post production. There's going to be some special effects and stuff that need to be done in it. So my goal is still April.
Yeah, rated X. She wants it to come out rated X.
If we showed the whole blood ritual scene, that it might get some kickoffs, or they might make me edit that part. But that scene was quite intense, and we started off with it, because it could only go better from there. Yeah. Or depending on how you use the word better, safer maybe is the safer word. Yeah, because look, this is the way I approach it. There's a lot that you can do and have fun with in film. There's a lot that you can do correctly. When you got an amazing person like Caitlin who says, these are where I'm willings and this is what I want. I showed her the role. It was actually written for someone else that told me they wanted to do the scene the way we filmed it with Caitlin. But then they got another role and couldn't film with us. And so when I was speaking to Caitlin, I'm like, look, this is a very open role, but I'm okay with adapting it if I need to. And she read it and she goes, no. You can ask her about it, but it had to be an interesting script read when she didn't know me. Like with Isabella, we had talked before on, because we're both here in Atlanta. Caitlin actually auditioned through Backstage and got the role through there. It was down to her and one other. And when we finished our Zoom, before I talked to the other girl, I already knew it was her. She did that well with being you can see her smile there on the camera. She comes across real well. But yeah, you can ask her about the role. It was very interesting.
Nice. Sergio is just reminding us because whenever anyone brings up Friday the 13th, he wants us to let them know that he was actually at the camp where they filmed Friday the 13th. Out in was that New Jersey, Tony, or was that New York? New Jersey.
Yeah, Jersey. Yeah.
That's where Tony's from. He's from Jersey, so he knows those things. Yeah, he's famous.
Jersey represent.
Yep. I'm in Mass. There's nothing. Well, Jaws. Salem's a lot, I guess. I don't know. But anyways, we're getting close to the time where we're going to play the trailer, Serge. I just want to let you know. I'm going to try to pull up that other trailer. If it starts playing sound, I apologize. Silent Sisters breaking news trailer. Is that the one? Okay.
Yep, that's the second one.
Pause. Please pause. All right, cool. All right, continue, Tony.
So, Derek mentioned it. So, Caitlin with the role. What drew you to it?
I think honestly, I was a little bit of shock factor. It was a little bit of pulling me out of my comfort zone more than I've ever done for a role, and I think that was what I needed. And it was just a really intriguing opportunity for me. I think I had an opportunity to, in my mind, become a better actress, which I think that honestly, I think filming with Eric did for me. So yeah, it was just a very as soon as I knew, like as soon as I read the role and I read the script, I was like, I'm doing this. Like, this has to be me. So yeah, I guess, does that answer your question?
Yes, of course. Because it's definitely, especially, I mean, I'm no actor at all, but, expanding your horizons or doing something that I guess might make you uncomfortable probably does
Yeah.
build you up for, the easier stuff. And like Derek said, you start off, if that was your first scene, it's like, okay, now it can only, get a little bit better from here. If I made it through this part, I could probably make it through the rest.
Yeah, honestly, that's exactly what happened. As soon as because we shot a scene first, one of the other scenes, and I was like still a little bit like trying to get into character and still a little bit like trying to work on it. And then as soon as we did the blood ritual scene, I was like, all right, I got it. This is the character. I understand. Like, I'm in. And so I think filming that right at the beginning was super helpful for me to just become more comfortable in the character and in the role.
And you guys, like, I know, like, reading a little bit on your IMDb's, I know, Isabella, you've been acting for a while, like since you were young teenager, right?
I've been modeling since I was 15, and I kept trying acting, but like I said, I kind of kept getting pigeonholed in a role, or like, I'm telling you, it was like, they talked about this before we went live. My hair used to be all the way down, like past my butt. And I just, for some reason, kept getting the same role, or just like not getting roles. And I was so frustrated. I think I picked up and quit acting like 5 times. I'd say that I've been pursuing acting as a career, like officially, since May of this year.
Okay.
So I've done the bulk of my like acting, actually, like my resume wise, like 3/4 of my resume has happened since May.
Oh, wow.
But I've been on and off of it for a while.
Nice. What about you, Caitlin? How long have you been at this?
Well, I guess so. I also started as a model. I used to model for Wilhelmina. And then, I mean, I'm 27 now, so it was kind of my time to maneuver from modeling to acting. And I'd always wanted to do it, but I was born in South Africa, and just the mindset there for anyone to become an actress or do anything other than doctor or lawyer or any of those like typical routes was not, it wasn't really an option there. And so by the time I had like moved here and lived here for a little bit, I was like, you know what, I'm going to give it a try. And I did, and I'm really glad I did.
You should have reached out to who do we have on from South? Raina Swart. She did a few horror movies in South Africa. Lullaby was one of them, and The Hex, I think, was the other movie.
You have a very good memory, Tony.
Right.
I didn't remember what today was. So what day of the week it was. I'm like, oh yeah, that's right. We got a show today. Oh crap. Like, yeah.
But
so,
yeah, she did a few. She starred in one. She directed one. So
right.
Yeah, she's from South Africa.
Hmm.
And then Isabella, you did pageant work too, right? So going from the pretty princess on stage to kicking some ass in one movie, and then going into a horror movie. Was it a hard transition, or was it?
It was actually pageantry that got me into modeling and acting.
Behind it was a horror show all on its own, right?
Yeah.
I randomly decided to do a pageant. I don't even know why. And I accidentally signed up for like the hardest pageant that I probably could do with where I was at. And I managed to win it on my second try. Again, I don't know how, but it opened up a ton of doors with modeling, which then, is how I started trying acting. And like I said, I tried it, I quit, I tried it, I quit. But actually now at the University of Georgia, I am majoring in entertainment and media studies, which is pretty much all of film production. Like, just being in these classes, I've already written 2 short films. I'm going to be producing one this semester, which kind of forced me to be like, if I'm going to do acting and like, because I want to do in front of and behind the camera, I was like, I kind of need to start taking it more seriously. And that's how I like started doing it for real this year.
That's
You're
awesome.
taking it the quick route, because some
Yeah,
people
no.
people act for years, and then they're like, okay, maybe I'll get behind the camera. You're like, I started
even-
in May, I'll do a few, I'll direct, I'll do. So you're taking like the quick route.
There's a lot of people like, like a NYU students or something like that. Well, they'll just go to school to learn how to do it, and then they'll start after that. So it's
yeah,
like,
I don't believe in that. I'm like, what's the whole point of college is you're like a semi-adult. Like I get to be independent without like fully being independent. So like now is the time to get like acting credits and like producing credits and stuff before I have to be like a big girl and compete with everyone else who's not in college. So yeah, once I got accepted into my major and like I had to actually commit to pursuing this, I was like, okay, I've got to commit.
because you're going to get rated on it, and you're paying to go, right?
I'm on a full tuition scholarship.
Well,
I
nice.
would not go into student debt for entertainment. That's too risky.
Wow, that's pretty impressive. I applied to go to one school, and it was for animation. I got accepted, and I didn't go because I got nothing for scholarships because I am a horrible student, and as you know, my memory is garbage, and yeah, it's just not good. But anyways, I have the trailers. I'm going to play the teaser first. That's like, or the short one, the little one. That's like 40 something, yeah, 44 seconds. So you'll see our beautiful faces in between, and then I'm going to go to the blood ritual one as well. But let's start with the breaking news one. This is the newest one. This hasn't been up for very long, right?
No, I made this for y'all. Just put it up on Saturday, I think.
Nice. Well, here we go.
Make sure you already have everything kicked over to 4K, right? I had it accidentally play at 720 on me the other day, and I'm like, oh it looks horrible.
Here's an interesting fact. You can only stream in 720 on StreamYard.
Oh no. Okay. Well then,
sorry.
After you show it,
yeah,
we'll get you the link. We'll put it in the description. Y'all go see it.
Okay.
In 4K.
Okay.
It's even better. All right. Cool.
We'll be back in a couple minutes. Here we go.
A wave of unexplainable violence has struck Crossville overnight. The town is in shock as the bodies of several individuals have been found, the victims of what appears to be a series of brutal attacks. Authorities are urging residents to stay indoors and remain vigilant as the investigations of these heinous crimes continues.
I need to know what happened last night. Why can't I remember anything?
The man you saw last night was a vessel used for channeling energies.
What happened during the trance?
The trance brought forward your inner power, Josie.
Wait, what power?
True clarity comes from honest communication. Speak your heart, child.
Those 3 girls. They've been attacking me. I can't fucking take it. I want those bitches to suffer.
That can be done. But be aware that the path ahead may not be as straightforward as it seems. Phaedrus Sisters, heed my call. Unleash your curse on the wicked. Be wary, Josie. Threads of fate have been woven. The Silent Sisters will rise and seek retribution.
I will.
Two trailers back to back. Hooray. So yeah, there you go. And I'm sorry, did you I know you said you have some post-production stuff you're working on. Was there an estimated time frame on when it's going to be? And is it going to be like streaming or is it going to be physical?
Tony still hadn't gotten to me yet about how to turn a movie into DVD format. So, we're waiting on that.
Oh.
No, the plan for my first two, which is Deadline and this one, is to hit the streaming market through Film Hub. And so that way we can do things like Tubi, Freevee, Shudder, they make it available to all those and see if we can get on. Because honestly, I know what I am at the moment, which is a lot of desire, a lot of potential, a lot of creativity. I've got great people like Isabella and Caitlin that trust me with the ideas and, raise their hand for the projects to get in them. But I have to prove it first. And so, to that extent, I want to get on there and show what this team has available, because in the future, I want to come in, bring in larger budgets and do more detailed type things, not necessarily just more gore, more blood, more terror, more, twist. You can't be Twisted South without the twist in it,
There you go. Yeah, that's true. But I mean, there's some pretty awesome filmmakers out there that go the same route. So, I mean, don't undersell yourself at the same time. You know what I'm saying? There's some, there's directors that have made pretty fantastic movies, in my opinion, that also the first place you see them now is Tubi. And to be honest with you, from what I understand is that you see the most payback on Tubi as opposed to like Amazon streaming and stuff like that. So that might be the place to go. And Chadrick is saying that's awesome. And then Sergio saw the trailers. That means you can now use
what? That means we can't come back.
It's a Christmas miracle. But
the one thing too is like with this or your previous project too, did you do any like crowdfunding or anything?
I was able to. A lot of people in Atlanta have had difficulty with either going through GoFundMe or Indiegogo or anything like that. According to them, I've had a bit of success. Sorry. And that was, I was able to get maybe 1,500 through crowdfunding on Deadline, 1,000 from the executive producer, and the rest came out of my pocket. And then on this one, we had about 2,500 from GoFund or through Indiegogo, and then 1,500 from an executive producer, and then also out of my pocket. So basically 2 features for around $15,000.
Because at that point in time, the more you put out there and the more people see it, it'll be that much easier to do like a crowdfunding, even though many times we heard how much of a horror story it is, how much, it's almost like a second job kind of deal where you have to make sure that you're paying attention to it. And if you have any perks or anything, you have to make sure, that you're sending it. Even though most of the time people, okay, we'll get our stuff out here. How many times have you heard, oh, where's my stuff? It's like, well, we still haven't.
Yeah, the movie's not made yet. Simmer down. You can't get any screen used props if they haven't been on a screen yet.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's some people that they do it and they'll have a successful campaign and like, I'm never doing this again. Like, because it's a lot of work for some people. Like, people are just on them constantly. Then they because it's taking too long, they'll like ask for their money back. It's crazy. But
well, if you want to auction it off, I still have the jar of blood that we put on Caitlin. So did you check I sent it to you and it's on my feed, but did you look at your Instagram?
My Instagram or
on the message I sent you the picture of Caitlin from the Blood Ritual.
Oh, I haven't seen it. I'm sorry.
Oh yeah, you have to click over there.
Okay.
But we have fun, and I've got amazing people over here on the team. Like when you've got people like Isabella and Caitlin raising their hand saying, "I've got time, write," and I can write for them because I already know them.
Yeah.
And like I've got to make a decision on Caitlin, and maybe y'all can help me make it. But on Adrift, I'm still trying to decide if she dies or not. Her character gets taken in the very beginning of the film, and the whole film's about them being, deciding whether, trying to chase her down, find her, and all that, and dealing with the grief. And she's in all the flashbacks and all that, but I got to decide if she's dead or not.
Well,
she hasn't died for me yet.
Is there a possibility of a sequel at any point
for Silent Sisters?
No, for the Drift.
For Adrift, probably not, because things like Silent Sisters would have one that's got backstories that we have to film. So,
how is she lost?
She's taken in the beginning by an explosion by a serial killer and his minions.
Okay.
Because she starts a true crime podcast investigating them.
Okay. So that, what if she survives, and at the end you find out that not only did she survive, but she took out those guys.
Oh.
She took them out at the end.
And then have Isabella choreograph it.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So then Caitlin is the winner at the end. She's the she's the victor. I don't know.
There you go. You might survive, Caitlin. You might.
Oh yay! I was hoping I had a vote.
Yeah, exactly.
Right now she's to the point where she's on a table with tubes and like, she's strapped down to a table. So we just haven't decided whether she's dead or not yet.
Okay.
But we're not filming that till March or April, so we got a moment to decide.
Yeah. Now for both of our lovely actresses that are here, so considering that, especially Isabella, you've been acting more recent, like over in the last year, and for Caitlin, you're fans of horror, and this is still lower budget, like more independent stuff. Have you frequented conventions at all? Like, have you gone to horror conventions? Like, is it ever a thought? Like, I think we may have asked Eric this before about like maybe representing the movies at a convention and actually meeting the public at a booth or something like that. Is that something that interests you guys at all?
That would be sick. I've been to Dragon Con a few times just because it's in Atlanta, but I've tried going to conventions. It's so hard. I'm someone who always wants to get a group to go to conventions, and getting people to commit to a convention is so hard. Yeah. So I'm always someone that's like, if I can get a group to commit, or like if other people are down, I'm always down.
What about you, Caitlin?
I mean, yeah, I would say I've never been to a convention, so I would say I'm down.
It's fun. I mean, not to be weird, but I more regularly than not go to conventions by myself, because I'll go to like moderate panels, or like I'll just be going for a day, and like there may be some vendors there that I know, or some like guests there that I know from the show, and I just want to stop in and say hi to them, or something like that, or just to support the convention, because there used to be a lot going on. Then COVID happened, and a lot of them just disappeared. So now they're trying to make their way back, and so I want to support as much as I can. But I think it's a good thing, and plus you'll end up building a fan base. People, maybe you do a screening at a convention, you'll find fans, and then what'll happen, just like Tony and myself do, we'll become a fan of somebody, and then we'll just follow their career. Like, we'll watch everything that you do, and we'll just see the progression. We'll watch everything that Derek makes, and we'll just see the progression of it getting better and better and better and better. That's what I like. But I don't know. I think it's interesting. You should definitely look into it, especially out in Florida, Caitlin. They have
a lot of conventions in Florida.
Yeah, but that one that Amy
Walton does.
Yeah, she does. She put out a magazine too, I believe.
The indie horror junkie.
Yeah. Yep. And it's definitely just a fun experience. We mentioned it many a times where you don't see many like rom-com conventions or anything.
Any
like
rom-com.
The horror community is definitely like tight knit, and it's one of those things where you'll learn that You'll gain a lot more fans if you like go out and meet them there. So I'm sure you ladies have, your fans from modeling and stuff, but then you'll gain that horror aspect of it. So it's definitely I'd say even if you go with like one or two people, it's definitely fun. Meeting the people behind the movies and stuff is a little expensive too, but
I'm saying, like, if they go there to represent the movie,
representing is probably a different beast in itself.
Derek can meet other actors and directors, and they can talk shop or whatever, and then rub elbows. Maybe you'll end up with another project with another director, or it's stuff happens. People will be talking about projects that are coming up, and at a convention, and next thing you know, you see, they were talking to this actress, and next thing you know, she's in the project. It's cool. It's a weird like family kind of thing. And we're just the weird stepkids on the side watching the redheaded stepchildren on the side, red bearded. Anyways, I don't know, Tony.
I was gonna say now, because you guys have done different genres and stuff. This is, I guess, just a question I have for most of the guests we have on. Does it make it more difficult depending on what genre you play, or is it kind of all intertwined? Like,
honestly, I'm so typecasted. I feel like no matter what genre I'm in, I play the same characters. I'm always an antagonist, like 95% of the time. So I just have to be really mean, no matter what genre.
So now, since you're writing your own stuff, now you can, write your own, star in it, and you could flip the script.
She probably would still write herself.
Well, I was going to say, some of the biggest monsters in horror movies are the nicest people. So
in life,
they're the nicest people you'll meet at a convention. The actors and actresses they're like, I just watched a movie where you murdered like 75 people, and you're like tearing up that I'm telling you about something that affected me, and you're like, whatever, like they're just the nicest people,
No,
so
Corinne was like scared of me because we were filming for 5 days, and I didn't do any of the mean girl stuff till like day 5. So for 4 days straight, we're hanging out, we're having a great time, and then we do like our big scene and most of it was improv, and I'm just spitting these like vile things at her because I always play the mean girl, so they're just on the top of my head. And she was like, "What? How did you do that?" She's like, "What is wrong with you? Why are you able to do that?"
You're like, it's been in my mind the whole time.
Yeah,
waiting for it to come out. I was thinking about it. No, just kidding.
Did you all know each other beforehand, or it was kind of like a first time meet up and then kind of go?
I got to know her like over the course of the week, but she was just seeing me in my like silent sister, like transformed mode for most of the time. She didn't get to see me like just be vile to her.
Yeah.
So those first 4 days where you're looking up stuff, where you're like writing stuff down, it's like, okay, I see this. This is what I'm going to say for this day or whatever.
Sergio just really quick wants to make sure that they know that Caitlin and Isabella know that he's a fan of theirs, and he wants to say hi. So, what's up, Sergio? Did you just do this? Is that what did you just do?
No,
that?
I waved.
Oh, I thought out of the corner of my eye.
I did that, and she went that way. So maybe all the action.
Maybe they intertwined
in my mind. Yeah, they're just like, "Hooray, I'm the champion."
Thank you, praise.
So, Caitlin, what about you? Like, do you normally play the same kind of character, or is it something where this is a little different for you?
Actually, this was completely different for me. I previously played Girl Next Door, or those kind of roles where I was always like the really nice girl, and so I'd never played something so mean before, and so this was totally different. I would say that was one of the things that I was so super excited about getting this role, was that it was different than anything I've ever done. So
that's awesome. And it was one of those things that you're like apologizing every time he says, and cut. You're like, I'm really sorry. I didn't mean any of that. Like,
really, no, I was enjoying it so much that I was like, You know what? Leave you guys. Like I'm good. I'm doing it.
Right. No, I would be apologizing because I would be afraid that they were taking me serious.
I was apologizing a lot.
Yeah, I would totally apologize. Like I can see it in my head, and if I had to be super mean to people, I'd be like, I'm really sorry. I didn't mean any of that. Like,
Corinne has just this pitiful face that like made me want to cry every time I said something mean to her. Oh my god, like me and the other mean girls would have to like take a moment. We're like, stop looking at us like that. You're like actually making us feel guilty.
that's good.
Funny.
And it worked. Yeah.
Exactly. You did your job correct.
Yeah, so if you notice, the last time you had Avriana and Corinne, which were the, technically the good side, the innocent side. And here you have the witch, and the one she casts a spell against is Isabella. So, you got the bad element here. So, we got some more bad girls for you if you want. You got Isabella's besties, Lavina Hermes and Lexi Andrews. If you look at the poster, they're both on there with her side by side. So it's the three of them turn into the Silent Sisters. So
nice.
Got some really good elements in there.
Yeah,
can't go wrong with 80s throwback cheerleader, slasher.
And a blonde.
A blonde witch, exactly. Yeah, we don't see it very often since last.
Well, she was wondering about that because we were worried about the accent, and I was reminded of a moment where the guy who was in Jurassic Park, Sam
Neill,
and he has a natural foreign accent, like Australian or something like that, and they told him to go with American accent, so he did. And then they said, no, go back and do it like halfway. And so now he gets trashed in the movie because everybody thought he was either doing a very bad American accent or a very bad Aussie accent, and he couldn't get it right. And so Caitlin and I had big discussions about it, and we even did a little internal focus group, like, what do y'all think? And we just told her to go full South African on it, because it's natural to her.
And it's a great accent. Like,
and most of the time too, you think of witches or whatever. You think of well, maybe not.
Like, witches. I'm from Massachusetts.
Mediterranean. But that's where my mindset was. But with the blonde hair, I told her it's like because her hair was brown, and she had lightened it for a role, and she goes, "I'm going to go back." I'm like, "No." I was like, "I already got Isabella," because I knew I had Isabella in the role. And so then I matched the other two off of her with this real dark hair. And so I only have like 3 light-haired girls in the whole film. Out of, 10, Isabella, I think? Is it 10?
Yeah.
Alex is the one that she had worked with before, Alex Javo. He's the one main guy on this, besides the blood ritual guy. And then we have one other brother, but... Yeah, so they're all pretty much all dark-haired. So, having the South African witch with the blonde hair.
It gets great.
I think it works.
I had years ago, I had a boss when I worked at Toys R Us that was from South Africa. And, like, he was a wicked jerk. Like, he was not a nice guy. But every time he would yell at people, I'm like, his accent's so cool. Like, how could you be so mad at this guy? Like, he was the worst. But at the same time, too, I'm like, such a cool accent. Like, I don't know.
Right. I think it fit really well for the role.
Yeah, totally does.
It's just someone very foreign, and my American accent is fake. And so it was kind of nice for a little bit to be able to talk normally.
Yeah, no, that's great. That's great. You should totally speak how you are until it's needed for a role,
It's funny because I noticed when I moved to the States that people, whenever I talk in my normal accent, I can visibly see people trying to figure out where my accent is, and they're not listening to what I'm saying.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so that's why I started with an American accent, and now it sticks whenever I'm talking to people who are American. Whenever everybody else has an American accent, then my accent comes out.
Well, the reason is because a lot of Americans are just not that smart. Like, we're just not that good at figuring. I'm serious. We're just not that good at figuring things out.
But the thing is, there's a difference between the different states. Everybody has an accent, but then when it's from across the sea, you definitely know. It's like, okay, where is that from exactly?
Well, that's the thing. She doesn't want to be bothered by that, which I get. But at the same time, too, I'm sure she can go to other countries and it'll be like, oh, you're from South Africa. But here, just like, you must be Australian or something. Like,
Right.
yeah. And this shows my ignorance. The only thing I know about South Africa is the group, is it the Antwoord? I think that's what they're called.
That's good, yeah.
That's the only thing I know about that country, and they are not good people.
No.
Yeah.
The Antwoord is it's a band. So it directly translates to the answer. And so the funny thing is that everybody else outside of South Africa loves them.
Yeah.
And the South Africans don't love them.
Well, that's the thing is, like, I liked them for a while because their music is just so different.
Right.
And
yeah.
Yolandi is just so weird. And like, she's so weird. And I was like, what does Zeph mean? I don't even know what that means, but whatever, Zeph. And then like, but then I saw the stories about how like they were just not good people. So I'm like, all right, I'm done with them.
Yeah. For sure.
That's the only thing I know about South Africa.
Right.
I'm educated. Sorry.
But now you know Caitlin, and you can always talk about her when that comes up.
Exactly. We know South Africa. There's a girl, Caitlin. She speaks with an awesome American accent. She doesn't have to, but she chooses to because she doesn't want to be bothered by people being like, where are you? No, that's great. I think it's great. And I get why you do it. But at the same time, too, you should be like, you should figure this out yourself.
Right. Yeah.
That's just me being pro BU kind of deal. I'm pro that way, like for real, because I've worked with people from all over the place, like through my jobs and stuff like that, and like people will apologize for not being very fluent in English. I'm like, you can speak 2 languages.
Yeah.
I can hardly speak 1, so you win. Don't apologize. You're awesome. So whatever. It is what it is. Right, Tony?
Of course.
So it's actually almost 10 o'clock, guys. So we do need to wrap things up. So let's start with Caitlin. Where can people go to follow your stuff? Like where do you go, like update on projects and stuff like that? Where can people follow you?
Typically, I do Instagram or TikTok, and both of those are the same. It's at Kate's Jade. Kate's with a CAIT and then Z, and then Jade. And so most of my posts are on Instagram and TikTok, pretty much.
Yep, and those they're actually in the show notes as well. You can go check it out there if you missed that. And Isabella, what about yourself?
Yeah, I'm the same thing. I'm predominantly on Instagram, but then I treat TikTok as like a video scrapbook of all my work. So that's definitely where you'll see the most like little teasers of my work. And they're all just my name, which it just automatically included this in my little title card for this. Yeah, I don't know why. I was like, okay, I guess everyone's going to have this. And then I got on and I was the only one with it. But it is just my name, which is Isabella Bloedorn, but it looks like Isabella Bloedorn.
Yeah, that's why when you message, I'm like, I would have never, ever in a million. If you gave me $1 million to say it right, I would have gotten it. It's
because the first name is Spanish and the last name is German. So just neither are good as to be expected.
So again, those are in the show notes as well. Because the people that listen to the show, it'll be up as an audio podcast a week from today. So the people that'll listen to it later on, it'll be on all the notes. Derek, what about yourself?
Well, you can find me still on Twisted South Originals, Facebook and Instagram, not on TikTok. I'll leave that to my wonderful supporting cast here and all that. But so you can find me on there. That's where I put out the trailers. Also, YouTube will have some of the teasers and all on there.
Nice.
Tony,
Tony, what about yourself?
You can find me at Tony Has 9 Fingers on YouTube, where I do movie reviews, unboxings, anything movie related. You'll find me on there. Tony Has 9 Fingers on X, which I hardly ever use, but it's part of my shtick. Tony Has 9 Fingers on TikTok, which I'm mostly present on there. Almost at 25,000 followers. So If you're
There you go.
if you're onto TikTok, you can find me there where I do the same thing, movie reviews, show off some movies and stuff. Tony's Movies on Instagram, where I show off the movies behind me. And of course, here on the Wicked Horror Show, most Tuesdays, unless we're sick or something.
Or life.
Exactly. So we either have awesome guests or it's just horror movie talk. So definitely check us out live, because if you didn't, then you missed the trailers and stuff. So
yeah, you can listen to the trailers, but you want to watch them.
Exactly.
I mean, come on. And for myself, just A Knuckle on Instagram. Besides doing this show with Tony, I'm also part of That Strange Show, which is also on the Dorkening Podcast Network. And I do a show with Nancy Ann Ritter and my friend Jeremy called The Re-Education of Nancy Ann Ritter. That is a show with Nancy Ann Ritter. She was in the original Scream movie, and she is doing the con circuit, and she doesn't know anything about horror. So we're educating her on some of the iconic horror movies that she's seeing reference to in her travels throughout the country as she's doing her con stuff. And I believe we're actually going to be recording an episode this Thursday. I believe we're trying to, and it's going to be Dead Alive.
Good luck.
I can't wait.
She said, there was a few movies where she said,
she said Evil Dead was too much. Evil Dead was too much. Evil Dead 2 was too much for her. So I'm like, all right, brain dead.
Just wait for, exactly. Wait for that one.
Evil Dead was too much, but Dead Alive is, for those who don't know, Dead Alive was the goriest movie of all time for a very long time. But it's a Peter Jackson movie. So he went on to make the Lord of the Rings and the Hobbit movies and King Kong. So, but yeah. So anyways, thank you guys for joining us. Thanks for watching and listening for the people that are listening next week. And have a good night. Goodbye.
Thanks for having
Take care,
us.
guys. Bye.